All right, so based on our conversation, here's what I cooked up for these frames for the INDIO theater action. So I got the 47 by 71 as they're drawn there. So I went back and forth, looked around. I was looking for some kind of hinge thing or whatever, or try to make a cabinet openable and all that. So I kind of went with just keeping it all sort of separate pieces. That way, it's just easier to build, but also for the vandalism. Should anything happen, if you were to make this door kind of a one-piece deal with the hinge, and then you have to then attach the polycarbonate to the door. If you do that, then you know that you have to, especially that I think this thing's east facing, so it's going to get some sun. So when this thing gets hot, it's going to get angry, as we know, and it's going to stretch and get all. So you have to create a track system in here, which sometimes means like siliconing in something to try to let this move around. And then that becomes sort of a hassle as far as fabrication, especially if this does get vandalized. Then that fabrication kind of has to happen on the tailgate of the F-150. So that's kind of a pain in the booty. So trying to keep things modular, keep things separate, I think might work in the long run. So especially like I was talking to you, it's not necessarily going to be a civilian in this. It's not going to be a person who's just going to go out on a Wednesday night and have to do this themselves. Preferably, they're going to be calling the professionals. So, but I did keep it to basically the frame coming off with maybe 6 screws. Doesn't have to be crazy locked down. It'll be plenty fine just sitting there. So this is what I came up with. But also what I'm really excited about is I think I solved the track system. So we'll get into that. But the main thing is I've got a 5-inch deep box here, and I went ahead and did a 2-inch return on the face here, a retainer. But of course, we're going to have some hardware. So I'm going to do a 3/4 inch on this side. So it will be sort of an inset kind of frame box on the lens there on the face. So we're going to do we're going to have this guy. This will just be a removable frame. Like I say, we'll just keep it easy with like 3 bolts on each side, 3 screws, and that's it. Nothing on the top and bottom. And so it's sort of easy to get to. And then what'll happen is we're going to go ahead and use the socket screw system that I like, where you take a 1/4 inch socket screw, which is a 1/4 inch tall, and we'll have 6 of those. And then the polycarbonate face won't be like I say, it won't be attached to the door. That way it's easy to replace if we have to. And it's just going to set on those bolts, and it'll have plenty of room for movement. I've done this before with faces that are captured by a retainer. And then that's just going to sit there on its own. That allows that to sit there. Then we can go ahead and just undo that, just pull that off. Now here's what I'm most excited about. So in order to keep the substrate, the print, which I got this like tan thing here, the print will actually slide up inside like that, and it will go up inside here and get captured by this little track system. This track system is actually what I've been trying to kind of replicate. So when I used to cook in the kitchens, yes, we have this track system, but a lot of other places use it. So I know that like we never really had a really excellent solution for menu boxes, things like that, where the civilians do, where we put a key on it, you open it, and they can go out and change their menu items and stuff. We've always done like magnets, like on steel we put in there. We've tried clips. We've tried like even like putting a spring across the very top, and then the people can slide the menu in there. So I've always thought that this was pretty cool though. You put it up inside and then it hangs down. And then when you're done, you just lift it up and it slides out. And it wasn't until I kind of started digging around. And look at that. Yeah, that's kind of funny though. They have the actual marbles there. But it wasn't until I started digging around this afternoon that I really haven't paid attention to how they're actually built. And the secret sauce, as you can see there, the secret sauce is this extrusion. So all these companies have their own different extrusions. But short of having to try to stuff this into where we go, I figured what I do is just make our own extrusion, and then just take the fact that they're using marbles. So it wasn't until I started to research that like most of these things actually do just use glass marbles. Now, whether or not they use glass marbles because of the performance characteristics of glass and it's slightly grippy, or it's lighter, or I think it's just because they're cheap and they're light. So what I'm thinking though is we can just use try steel ball bearings. Now ball bearings aren't that much more expensive than the marbles. Plus I can get 1/4 inch ball bearings, which might be the same weight as these are basically 5/8 of an inch. What I did do though is I ordered up, you can get 100 marbles for like $3, and you can actually get, these ball bearings are not expensive either. So I got about 100 ball bearings, different flavors. And so for like $20, we got all the different ones. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try creating our own track system. If we can get this track system figured out, this to me was a bit of a holy grail for me personally, trying to figure out how to hang media in a box like this, whether it's going to be a movie poster, or again, if we do make a menu box for a restaurant and somebody's going to go out there every night and hang a new menu. If we can solve this, then it's just a matter of stocking some ball bearings and then creating the track. And so it's very easy. You're just going to slide this up and in, and then to take it out, it's just a matter of lifting it up. And then when you lift it up, it actually frees. It takes the ball bearings up out of the track and you can pull it out. So the whole idea is to go over there, you buzz off the frame, you just lift the plex out of the way, polycarbonate, whatever. Then you just slip the poster in, let it hang down, make sure that's straight the way you like it. So I'm thinking this brown here would be where the poster goes, slide it up into the track, and then you just sandwich it with the polycarb and then smash it up against, and the polycarb will just sit on those bolts and it just sits there as a unit. Then you just take the frame, slide the frame over and screw it in place, and we're good to go. And there you go. Bob's your uncle, easy peasy. So I think that system would work pretty good. Then the frame, what it does is it just traps that up against there, and it kind of creates a sandwich. So the polycarbonate just sandwiches that, and then this frame, the 3/4 inch, just sits against that. So this does allow this to move around in the heat. It's not going to be trapped too badly. And then this right here, just keeps it all nice and safe. Again, what I like about this is if somebody decides to come in one day, and pull out their Benchmade, and they go ahead and just, carve their name in it, with some straight up vandalism, then, we'll get the call. They'll say, hey, somebody vandalized our stuff. So then what we do is just route out a new face. We go over there, just take this out, and we just put in the new one, just like that. And then that way we don't have to worry about actually trying to fabricate this or cutting out, this track and all that stuff. It'll just make it real simple. So hopefully though, if that works, that's kind of what I see. But if we can get this track system worked out, I think that'd be pretty cool. We can just create our own little thing and put it in whatever menu box we want. So, but anyway, so that's kind of how I see it. Also, I don't know if they are going to be illuminated or not. Ultimately, I forget. Too much tryptophan. I think you told me, but I know it says non-illuminated on the thing there. If it's not illuminated, I kind of built it for illuminated. But if it's not illuminated, it's basically the same thing. All we're going to do is eliminate the back lens and maybe the inner frame. But this is where the LEDs would live. But and if you wanted to, because it's not illuminated, we could theoretically make this cabinet, more shallow. It could be as shallow as needed. It could maybe be 2 inches deep or whatever, just as long as it's got room for this track and the door lens. But otherwise, all of this could be omitted, or if it needs to be illuminated, that's it. We'd have this lens here, and then our substrate would be that, like I said, that whatever it's called, the bus shelter material that we were using for Cabazon back in the day for their light boxes. So anyway, so that's how I see it. If you have any questions, hit me up. Check the technique.